Friends, colleagues and listeners, here we are. Lovely little podcast lined up for you today, part of the Tell Your Story focus that we're doing. And the person I'm referring to is, and I don't know him as Harley, but Harley Warren Jones, who's the VP Business Development for AGI based in Miami. So Warren, Harley, what a great name, mate.
Thanks. I'm after my father, Harley Thornton Jones, but Harley Warren Jones. Thank you.
Yeah, no, great one. Right, firstly, great backdrop there, my friend. I've got to say, it's not difficult to see what industry or business you're in and how proud you are of it and how much you care. So that's brilliant. So what I'd like to start with is you can just tell us briefly your journey, your story, Warren. How did you get from where you started to where you are now?
Well, Chris, I actually read the newspaper back in the 1990s, and I looked at a wanted ad for GSA airline sales back in 1996 after the Summer Olympic Games in Atlanta, Georgia, that I had just finished working. And all it said was, cargo sales, person needed, apply within. And so I did. And so I started working as a GSA, general sales agent, back in 1996. And my very first airline was Western Pacific Airlines, a little airline out of Colorado Springs, Colorado, doing airline sales for that carrier. And once I got the bug of air cargo, that's all she wrote.
Brilliant. I'll tell you what, you've made me feel ancient when you said back in 1996. I was based in Atlanta then and went to the Olympics, and it was great time, great place. So
Great
the GSA,
times.
yeah, GSA got into your blood, and obviously I know you as a salesman of many things, and fair play to you. You've got a great enthusiasm and engagement, Warren, and it's it's recognised by many people. So once you got into that, then how did your career map out, and who were the inspirations for you, over the next coming years?
Well, from the airline sales, I transferred to Chapman Freeborn, did some work for Chapman Freeborn, learned a charter business underneath them and underneath a friend of mine named Harry Steiner. And then I left there and I went to Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport in 2004. And I'd known a person named Robert Kennedy. And Robert Kennedy was one of my mentors in the life, as he taught me the airport side of the business, the cargo side of the business, what it really meant to be an airport and why air cargo is so important. I knew it was just moving boxes, but Robert taught me why that box was important, because that box, auto parts that Uncle Bob made. And because of air cargo, transporting that box from A to B, Uncle Bob's got a job.
Yeah.
Or it could be plasma, a blood plasma, or it could have been my mom's kidney that came by air cargo when she had a transplant. So Robert taught me the value of air cargo and the economic impacts it did. And it really drilled down to me the importance of going out and selling the community of Atlanta, the airport itself, the people, and the great cargo community of Atlanta, Georgia, the forwarders there, and helping that, because every new cargo flight we got into Atlanta meant jobs for the ground handler, meant jobs for the freight forwarders, the new airline coming in. So that's where I really started to enjoy the impact of air cargo.
Yeah, no, and once you're in, aren't you? It's a weird.
You are.
People might say that about many other industries, but all the people I've met, it's we fall into it sometimes, but once you're in, it's so difficult to get out and see any sense or reason to do something else. It's an incredible draw.
You never leave. You just change a business card for the opportunities, and you keep going and you keep growing. And with that, you develop friendships and true relationships. And out of that relationship came a really great one with Brandon Freed of the Air Forwarders Association. And from 2006, I believe, when I first met Brandon, all these years working with Brandon on various projects.
Yeah, no, and that's also something you've been recognised for, having a bigger picture approach and always giving your time to, community association, always being in that arena. And I take my hat off to you, because that takes a lot of time and effort as well.
It has, but it's something that I enjoy, because the industry needs people to contribute. The industry needs people to educate. And the more we can educate the community and the people that we work with on the value of air cargo and coming together as an industry to solve problems together, then we can make the industry strive more and create more jobs or solve problems that we all face in this industry.
Yeah, no, exactly. And then obviously, soon after you came to now be in the position you're in, the VP there with AGI. I mean, they're a very well-known organization now. I mean, they've really grown.
Yes, I've been very blessed. I mean, I was at Atlanta Airport for a while. I did a stint at CNS as president of CNS, did some work with Tiaca. I consulted with a Chilean salmon company. So I was actually a shipper at one time, moving about 150, 200,000 pounds a week of fresh salmon. And then the opportunity with AGI came. And that was also through relationships I had known over the years. And they were in the growth pattern. You know, when I started back in 2019, AGI was in 21 locations with the mail and cargo operations, only about 2,500 employees. But through growth and acquisitions, AGI today is in 62 locations, over 12,000 employees, and we have 4 lines of business: the cargo side of the business, the passenger, the ground operations, our post office operations, and then our security operations as well. So it's been really a great opportunity and a pleasure and an honor to work with a great company. We're the cargo people. And so we want the world to know who AGI is and such. So it's been fun.
No, people are taking notice now, Warren. They're taking notice. Now, another question.
I hope so.
Now, so, right, you got your role. You're into AGI, and it's not that we're not going to talk about AGI, but just on this particular podcast, it's about, you know, your support of certain associations, which makes everybody appreciate everybody else's value in the supply chain and what they do for the end customer, which is so important, because sometimes people look in and they think we're very siloed, you know, and so it's so important to get everybody appreciating that we're all trying to grow the same cake, irrespective of what size of the slice we'd like to have eventually. But from that now, what motivated you then to get involved with AFA, with the Air Forwarders Association?
Well, as I said earlier, I'd done a lot of work with Brandon over the years, from the Atlanta Airport days, from our partnership that CNS had with the AFA, Tiaca, and various things. And there was no one better in the industry than Brandon Freed when it comes down to the education, the regulatory side of the business than Brandon. And I've always, you know, thought that of Brandon is, you know, one that, you know, if you want to know something, you work with Brandon and AFA. And about 2 years ago, when the board came up for a position on the board, Brandon said, "Hey, you know, you've been nominated to be on the board of directors. Are you interested?" Yes, 100%. And so I was very honored to be elected to that board of directors for the AFA, because, you know, the AFA, you know, people think, oh, it's just another, you know, group out there in Washington, D.C. What are they doing? But they're doing education. You know, we just signed a thing with Wise Tech Academy because, as I said earlier, I was a college professor for 8 years at Georgia State. And the more you can educate and show the value of air cargo, and that's what we want to do with the AFA is, you know, these forwarders and airlines are hiring people. They have no clue about what air cargo is. They just think it as a box. And through the courses that we have with Wise Tech, we're able to show why that box is important. As I said earlier with Uncle Bob, why it's important for those people. And so the AFA does that. You know, they work with sustainability, cybersecurity. There's so many things that we're working on as a group, and we've got an amazing board of directors. We're now working with FIATA. You know, people are like, why are you working with that world organization? Well, because, you know, we're US, but yet our impact affects the world and vice versa. So we've got to work with these international organizations to come up with solutions on things. Otherwise, you know, we're going to create bottlenecks, or we're going to create issues that we're not discussing. And so let's do that. And so we're very excited to be teaming up with FIATA on various projects. And so we're actually going to be attending their annual meeting in Panama City in September as the AFA. And I'm very excited to be going there representing AGI, but also the AFA itself.
No, no, and I think you're 100% right. And like you said earlier, so many people fall into the business, but if they're given a little bit more background and a little bit more purpose and the reason why, then when they do
Hmm.
still maybe fall in, at least they've got a different approach to it, and maybe they'll stay longer and get to grow into it and love it like we do. Um,
One of the
Now
key
on
things
top,
at AGI, I'm sorry, one of the key things
yeah,
at AGI when new employees come is we teach them that value
yeah,
because we're in for the long haul, and we want our employees to that. We want our employees to understand things. So we want to educate as much as possible because then they really understand what that means.
yeah. No, I think it's fair play to you. I take my hat off to you. And then on top of that, you're also now part of ACAG, so the Air Cargo Advisory Group as well.
Yeah, the Miami Airport, Emir Pineda and Jimmy, who are the part of the marketing development team at the Miami International Airport, approached me a couple months ago and said, "Look, we have our annual cargo meetings that the airport runs, and we talk about what's the airport's doing and things, but we want to have another group. We want to have an independent group of handling companies, airlines, freight forwarders, whoever, that are in a neutral setting. And so what are your thoughts on that?" I said, "Yes, let's do something like that." And I said, "Let's call it ACAG, Air Cargo Advisory Group." And the name
Yeah,
stuck. And so it's an independent group, not to point fingers at operational issues at Miami Airport. We can do that all day, and that's not what we're here for. We're here to support Miami International Airport. We're here to support with ideas and solutions to bring to the table to the leadership of the Miami International Airport. And my hat is off to the airport for doing this and supporting
yeah,
this.
yeah,
And other airports are doing the same thing. Chicago, under Adam Murad up there in Chicago, they have a group as well that we'll participate in. So these airports that are moving forward, after COVID, they saw the value of air cargo. All right, well, move past that even further. Let's address the issues. Let's don't remember how we got to where and how air cargo saved the day. Let's go beyond and find solutions together.
Can I ask you something, Warren, on that? So with the advisory activities and support, I've been thinking for a long time, and I've been quite vocal about it as well. I think, one of the biggest positive disruptors that should start to flex their muscles now moving forward is an airport. Because if they actually lay down a sort of like a quality or a safety charter, and they lay down a set of commitments that all of their vendors, anybody who comes and wants to work in that airport, has to abide by that airport's principles and that airport's common standards, irrespective who it is, with the understanding, that they're going to try and alleviate traffic, make the passenger experience more comfortable, which it needs to be. In most airports, but to do that, there's give and take. But you can take by doing something quite innovative and creative. And I think if they start to put more emphasis on common services, so from the sustainability perspective, even equipment pooling, hard stand pooling, whatever it is, there's great opportunities. But one of the best ones is to turn that airport into the center of a community. So everybody is so proud to work at Miami Airport, who lives around commuting distance and travel time, and they're so proud of that community that they work for Miami Airport, irrespective which independent company within the airport.
Chris, you're exactly right. And that comes under the education side of things. And, working, with the airports who have vision. These
Yeah,
airports now, they see the value of air cargo. And more importantly, you're getting the local politicians involved. Miami
yeah,
Airport has actually had the local commissioners at the cargo meetings listening.
yeah,
That's the
yeah,
best thing ever. They've come to listen. They've come to ideas. And that's kind of how the ACAG came together
yeah,
on that. And so, you hear stories, oh, the politicians are getting involved, and that may, no, they want to learn. They realize that now. And so my hat's off to Miami and Chicago as they move forward. And I look forward to working with other airports that are looking to do the same roles because, there are a lot of airports that supported air cargo operations, especially during COVID, and made a difference. And so that's what we're excited for.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And another airport, Dallas. You know, I've spent some time on panels and seen what's going
Yep.
on there. And the more people
Dallas
that,
is another great example. Yes.
yeah,
Milton
Milton,
and his crew does a very good job on things. Yes.
yeah. And the more that airports do things independently yet consistently, makes the whole thing come together.
Yes.
And,
100%.
and yeah,
You know,
and
when I was with the Atlanta airport, we actually would team up. People would ask me, why are you teaming up with airports to get business? You know, you're supposed to be in
yeah,
competition. And because I actually made a trip to the Middle East with the Dallas airport one time.
yeah.
And we met with a
Where did you
major
go?
international, I'm sorry,
Where did you go?
we were in Dubai.
Okay,
I
yeah,
was in Dubai and with the Dallas Fort Worth airport. And when I was in Atlanta, and people are like, why are you doing this?
yeah,
And like, well, think about it though. One airport, you know, to do a full turn on a 747 or a 777 freighter, that's a lot of cargo. But if you team up with another airport, you know, you're not fully committed to the whole flight. And the airline gets to hit both customers at the same time. It worked. Then
yeah,
Emirates started flights. And then
yeah.
we started doing it more. So, you know, it's not just about one airport. We're all in this together. And
Exactly. And the
so
one
we
thing,
broke the mold.
no, well done. But also, what people seem to forget is you need one airport to take off. You need another one to land in. So
Exactly.
if you're able to team up and get it right at the front end and the back end, you then have a clean flight concept, which is the best record you can have.
Right. And it works. And so our hats off. And I miss those fun times, but now I'm with AGI. And so now we're doing the other things. And so I'm still doing kind of air service development in a way, because I'm still trying
Yeah.
to, you know, push the concept on things, but you know, we team up.
No, and that's the best way. Everybody normally is stronger as a team than they are individually. So, you know, it makes a lot of sense. Now,
100%.
just before we close, Warren, what challenges and opportunities do you now see ahead for yourself in your own role, but also, you know, with the supporting role for both AFA and ACAG?
Well, under the AGI, you know, we always see challenges as we move forward as, you know, the role of a ground handling agent. You know, we want to educate more what we do as AGI and what our team members do, you know, and the dedication that our team has. We also, you know, we want to move forward as a company, you know, working, you know, trying to promote more electric use vehicles within our fleets and everything. But we found a lot of the airports, they're not ready yet. You
Yeah,
know, we're ready to put electrics in, but a lot of airports, their infrastructure is not there yet. So that's one of the biggest challenges
exactly.
because we are putting more biodegradable plastics out there, using those and other things, recyclable products on that. As we move forward on opportunities, we want to work more with the freight forwarding industry
Yeah,
and to team up with them more. A great example is Kuehne+Nagel. You've probably
yeah,
seen Kuehne+Nagel just opened up last week, their new building in Birmingham, Alabama.
yeah,
A great opportunity for them to support Mercedes-Benz.
yeah.
And so, you know, those what we look for at AGI, because, you know, we're a nimble company. We react to the market conditions on that. With the AFA, as I said, we're teaming up with FIATA, and we'll be approaching at the FIATA conference in Panama City in September. And people are asking, why are we doing more of that? Why? They're international. It affects us. It affects how
Yeah.
you do business, especially this e-commerce boom. E-commerce
Yeah.
is getting huge right now, and we've got to find ways to make sure that that e-commerce is flowing. You want your packages fast, so do
Yeah.
people here. And if it's caught up because of trade regulations or security with all that, which we have to do 100%. We have the best canine people in the world with Global Canine getting it done, but yet we still have to make sure. And so AFA teaming up with them, doing education with WiseTech, doing the other sustainability, Brandon being in Washington on the regulatory side, those are things. And then as we just start our ACAG in Miami, you know, we look for ideas. We want to make Miami the best international airport in the world. And there are challenges we need to overcome. Like I said, we're not here to point fingers operationally, but we're here to create ideas and work together with the Miami Airport leadership. And my hat is off to them. I mean, they approached us.
Yeah.
And so I'm excited to be working with them. I look forward to our first meeting with the airport director. I've got people already, including other ground handlers who want to be part of this committee, developers, everyone. And so we're excited about that.
That's brilliant, mate. Brilliant. Well, listen, if it's all right with you, we'd love to come back and have a listen to what's gone on and how things have developed. So maybe in about 6 months' time, we'll give you another shout, and it'll be an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Maybe at the TIACA conference here in Miami. We're a big supporter of TIACA. We'll have a booth there. So Chris, I hope you're going to be attending that show. It's an exciting one in November.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
We will be there in force. And so
brilliant.
Come have a conversation with us, the cargo people.
Yeah, I'd love to. And listen, it's great to hear somebody with such genuine enthusiasm, engagement, and a passion for this business, mate. It's really, really nice. Good luck with everything, and good luck to AGI. And please God, touch wood, I'll see you in November.
Chris, thank you for everything you do, and I do appreciate it. You take care now, and roll tide.
Yeah, thanks. Cheers now.